Listen carefully. This message did not reach you by accident. If you felt an unusual pull to open this, there is a reason. Something has been happening quietly around you, and it has been affecting your peace, your progress, and your clarity more than you realize. Don't skip. Stay with me. God says there is a silent threat in your life. Not loud, not obvious, not dramatic. That is why it has gone unnoticed. It does not shout. It whispers. It smiles. It agrees with you. It stands close enough to feel safe. And that is exactly how it works. You have been wondering why your energy drops after certain conversations, why your motivation disappears for no clear reason, why your prayers feel delayed even though your heart is sincere. You blamed yourself. You thought it was exhaustion, stress, or overthinking. But God says this confusion is not random. There is someone, or something, positioned close enough to influence you without resistance. It does not openly oppose you. It pretends to support you. It nods while quietly redirecting your steps away from what you are called to become. Hold on, stay with me. This is not about fear. This is about awareness. God never exposes without intention. When He reveals, it is because protection is already being activated. What you are about to understand will shift how you see people, patterns, and even your own emotions. The most dangerous distractions are not the ones that look harmful. They are the ones that feel familiar. They feel like comfort. They feel like loyalty. They feel like, this has always been here. And because of that, you lowered your guard. God says you have been kind, forgiving, and patient. Those are strengths, not weaknesses. But when kindness is given without discernment, it becomes an open door. Not everyone who walks beside you is meant to walk with you into your future. Don't skip. This part matters. The silent threat does not want to destroy you openly. It wants to delay you quietly. It wants to keep you busy, tired, doubting, and slightly off course. Just enough that you question your own intuition. Just enough that you settle for less clarity than God intended. Have you noticed how certain ideas you once believed in no longer feel strong? How certain dreams suddenly feel unrealistic even though they once felt alive? God says that doubt did not come from nowhere. There is influence in proximity. What stays close speaks the loudest, even when it speaks softly. You have been sensing something is off, but every time you try to name it, you talk yourself out of it. You say, maybe I'm imagining things. God says you are not imagining it. You are discerning it. This is the moment where discernment begins to rise above emotion. God is sharpening your inner awareness. He is teaching you the difference between presence and alignment. Someone can be present in your life and still not be aligned with your purpose. Stay till the end of this message series, because clarity is unfolding layer by layer. The silent threat does not always come as a person. Sometimes it is a pattern, a habit, a repeated thought that tells you to wait longer than necessary, a voice that says, now is not the right time, even when God has already said, move. But very often, it hides in relationship, not as open opposition, but as subtle redirection. Small comments, gentle discouragement. Are you sure? Is that realistic? Maybe later. Over time, those words shape decisions. God says you were chosen to hear this because you are closer to a breakthrough than you think. That is why exposure is happening now. Delay has an expiration date. Don't skip this next thought. When God exposes, He does not embarrass. He educates. He prepares you to see clearly without hatred, without panic, without guilt. This is not about cutting everyone off. This is about learning who has access to your spirit. You are entering a season where peace will require boundaries. Growth will require distance from confusion. And obedience will require listening even when it feels uncomfortable. God says the reason this threat stayed hidden is because you were not ready to see it before. Now you are stronger. Now you are wiser. Now you can handle truth without losing compassion. Hold on. The next part will reveal how to identify what has been draining you without attacking anyone, without accusing anyone, and without losing your calm. Stay with me. This message is not finished yet. Stay with me. What you are about to hear may feel uncomfortable, but it will be freeing. Don't skip. God says the silent threat reveals itself through patterns, not drama. It does not arrive with chaos. It arrives with repetition. The same emotional weight, the same confusion, the same sense of being almost there, but never fully arriving. Look closely at your life right now, not with fear, with honesty. There are moments when you feel strong, focused, and clear. Then suddenly, without any clear reason, that clarity fades. Nothing obvious happened. No argument, no loss, no visible setback. Yet your spirit feels heavy. God says this is not random. The silent threat works by dulling your awareness. It does not block blessings directly. It makes you tired before the blessing arrives. It makes you question yourself just enough to hesitate. Don't skip this part. Have you noticed how some conversations leave you inspired, while others leave you drained? God says your spirit already knows the difference, even when your mind tries to explain it away. There is a reason you feel relief when certain people are not around. There is a reason your thoughts feel lighter when you are alone with God. That relief is information. That peace is a signal. The silent threat does not want you to notice that signal. God says this threat survives on your silence. As long as you ignore your inner warnings, it stays comfortable. As long as you keep saying, "It's nothing," it keeps growing quietly. Stay till the end of this message. You need this clarity. This is not about blaming others. This is about recognizing influence. Influence shapes direction. Direction shapes destiny. Even small influences, repeated over time, can change the course of a life. God says the enemy does not always push you backward. Sometimes it keeps you standing still while everyone else moves forward. Think about this carefully. Delayed obedience feels safe. Delayed decisions feel responsible. Delayed faith feels wise. But God says delay can be disguised disobedience when He has already spoken. The silent threat often speaks through reasonable excuses. Wait a little longer. Don't rush. Now is not the right time. These words sound harmless, but when they repeat for years, they quietly steal momentum. Don't skip. God says you were created to move with purpose, not to live in hesitation. The moment you start doubting your own clarity, you hand over authority that was meant to stay with you. Here is a powerful truth most people never hear. Not everyone who agrees with you supports you. Not everyone who listens to you understands you. Not everyone who stays close is meant to stay forever. Some people are seasonal. Some patterns are temporary. But when you hold on to them beyond their purpose, they become. Wait. God says the silent threat resists change. It prefers things to stay exactly as they are, because growth exposes what no longer belongs. That is why every time you think about stepping into something new, something inside you feels uneasy. That uneasiness is not fear of failure. It is resistance to transformation. Hold on. Stay with me. God is teaching you discernment without anger. Awareness without bitterness. Strength without noise. You do not need to confront everything. You do not need to explain yourself to everyone. You do not need permission to protect your peace. Sometimes protection is simply distance. Sometimes wisdom is simply silence. Sometimes obedience is simply listening to what your spirit has been trying to say all along. Don't skip this next line. God says once you see clearly, the silent threat loses its power. Exposure removes influence. Awareness breaks cycles. You are not weak for feeling affected. You are not broken for feeling confused. You are awakening. And when awakening happens, things that once felt normal begin to feel heavy. That is not loss. That is alignment. Stay till the end of this message series. The next part will show you how God removes what is hidden without creating chaos in your life, and how peace returns faster than you expect. Stay with me. The shift has already begun. Stay with me. This is where understanding becomes power. Don't skip. God says once a silent threat is exposed, it tries one last thing. It does not attack. It distracts. It fills your days with noise so you do not sit long enough to notice what must change. That is why this moment matters. Right now, God is slowing you down on purpose. Not to delay you, but to protect you. When life becomes quiet, truth becomes loud. And what has been hiding can no longer hide. You may feel an urge to withdraw, to be alone, to think deeply. That is not isolation. That is recalibration. God is resetting your inner compass. Stay till the end of this part. Here is a truth many never hear. When God is about to elevate you, He first edits your environment. He removes access before He removes people. He changes how things feel before He changes what stays. This is why some connections suddenly feel uncomfortable. Conversations feel shallow. Familiar routines feel empty. God says this discomfort is not punishment. It is preparation. Don't skip this. The silent threat loses power the moment you stop explaining yourself. Explanation feeds influence. When you stop reacting, you regain authority. God says you are learning that not every emotion deserves a response. Not every opinion deserves space. Not every presence deserves access. This is maturity. You are stepping into a season where discernment replaces emotion, where clarity replaces confusion, where peace replaces constant effort. But hear this carefully. Peace is not passive. Peace is protected. God says the reason you felt spiritually tired was not because you were doing too much. It was because you were carrying what was never assigned to you. Other people's expectations. Other people's fears. Other people's limitations. You were strong enough to carry it, but you were never meant to. Stay with me. The silent threat often hides behind familiarity. This is how it has always been. But God says your future does not require permission from your past. The moment you accept that truth, something breaks. Suddenly, you stop apologizing for growth. You stop shrinking to maintain comfort. You stop doubting what God already confirmed. Don't skip this next part. God says clarity will not arrive as a loud sign. It will arrive as calm certainty. A quiet knowing that does not argue with you. It simply settles in your spirit and stays. You will wake up one day and realize you are no longer confused about what to do. Not because everything changed overnight, but because you changed how you listen. You stopped listening to fear. You stopped listening to hesitation. You started listening to peace. That is how God guides. Stay till the end. Here is a once-in-a-lifetime revelation. The silent threat was allowed to stay only long enough to teach you discernment. Once the lesson is learned, the influence expires. Nothing overstays its purpose when wisdom arrives. God says you are not losing anything valuable. You are gaining clarity. And clarity is priceless. What leaves now leaves quietly. What stays now stays aligned. What comes next comes with peace. Hold on. Stay with me. In the next part, you will understand how God restores what was drained from you, how your strength returns, and how you step forward without fear, without guilt, and without looking back. Don't skip the next part. This message is building toward something important. Stay with me. This part seals what God has been revealing. Don't skip. God says now that the silent threat has been exposed. Restoration begins quietly, not all at once, not with noise, but with steady return of strength, clarity, and peace. You may already feel it. Your thoughts are slower, but clearer. Your emotions are calmer, but stronger. Your decisions feel firm, without anxiety. That is not coincidence. That is alignment. Stay till the end of this part. Here is a powerful truth few understand. When God removes hidden influence, He does not leave emptiness. He fills the space immediately with discernment. What once drained you no longer has access. What once confused you no longer has authority. That is why you are beginning to feel different even before anything around you visibly changes. Don't skip this. God says restoration is not about getting back what you lost. It is about becoming who you were meant to be without interference. You are not returning to an old version of yourself. You are stepping into a clearer one. The silent threat relied on your uncertainty. Now certainty is returning. And with certainty comes peace that does not need explanation. Hold on. Stay with me. You may notice people reacting differently to you. Some may become distant. Some may become quieter. Some may feel uncomfortable without knowing why. This is not conflict. This is recalibration. When your energy changes, everything around you adjusts. God says do not chase what shifts away. What belongs will remain without effort. What was only there for access will fall away naturally. Stay till the end. Here is a once-in-a-lifetime revelation. Protection does not always look like removal. Sometimes it looks like emotional detachment. You still see clearly, but you no longer feel pulled. You still care, but you no longer carry weight that is not yours. That is freedom. You are learning to love without losing yourself, to listen without absorbing, to stand firm without becoming hard. Don't skip. God says the peace you are feeling is not temporary. It is the result of truth, and truth stabilizes. From this place, your prayers change. From this place, your decisions sharpen. From this place, your future opens. You are no longer easily influenced. You are no longer easily delayed. You are no longer easily drained. Stay with me. The silent threat has lost access, not because you fought it, but because you understood it. Understanding is stronger than confrontation. Now, when something does not feel right, you will trust that signal. When something feels heavy, you will step back without guilt. When something feels aligned, you will move forward without fear. God says this is maturity. This is wisdom. This is growth. Stay till the end of this message series, because what comes next is not confusion, not struggle, not delay. What comes next is clarity that stays. Hold on. You are stepping into a season where nothing hidden can stay hidden, and nothing meant for you can miss you. Don't skip the next part. The journey is not over yet. Stay with me. This part brings everything into focus. Don't skip. God says now that clarity has returned, responsibility follows. Not heavy responsibility. Sacred responsibility. The responsibility to protect what you can finally see. Before, you sensed things but doubted yourself. Now, you sense things and trust yourself. That is the difference. Stay till the end. Here is a truth that will change how you move forward. Discernment is not suspicion. Discernment is recognition. You no longer need proof to feel peace. You no longer need permission to step back. You no longer need validation to say no. God says when clarity settles in, confusion cannot argue anymore. Don't skip this. You may notice that situations that once felt complicated now feel simple. Not because they are easy, but because you are no longer divided inside. Inner agreement creates outer strength. When your spirit and your decisions align, hesitation disappears. Hold on. Stay with me. God says the silent threat wanted access to your emotions, not your actions. Once your emotions are guarded, influence ends. That is why emotional discipline is spiritual strength. You are learning to pause before responding, to observe before reacting, to listen without absorbing. That is power. Stay till the end. Here is a shocking revelation. Most delays in life are not caused by lack of opportunity. They are caused by lack of clarity. Now clarity is present. That means movement is coming. Not rushed movement. Not forced movement. Aligned movement. God says when the time comes, you will move without resistance. Doors will open without struggle. Decisions will feel firm instead of stressful. Don't skip this next part. You were never meant to fight everything. You were meant to outgrow what no longer fits. Outgrowing feels quiet. It feels like calm distance. It feels like peace that does not need explanation. This is the season you are in now. Stay with me. God says protect your mornings. Protect your thoughts. Protect your peace. What you protect will grow. What you ignore will return. You are now aware enough to choose wisely. Stay till the end. From this place, you will notice something powerful. Your intuition sharpens. Your patience deepens. Your confidence stabilizes. Not loud confidence. Grounded confidence. You do not announce growth. You demonstrate it through calm decisions. Hold on. The silent threat has been replaced with silent strength. And silent strength changes everything. Don't skip the next part. What comes next is the final alignment that prepares you for what God has been preparing for you all along. Stay with me. This part completes the inner shift. Don't skip. God says there is a moment when awareness becomes authority. You are entering that moment now. What once influenced you no longer controls you. What once confused you no longer directs you. That is not imagination. That is growth. Stay till the end. Here is a powerful truth. When clarity is permanent, old patterns cannot return. They may try to knock, but they no longer have a key. You have changed the access, not the situation. God says this is why you feel steady even when things around you feel uncertain. Stability has moved from outside to inside. Don't skip this. You may notice that you are no longer tempted to explain your choices. Silence feels natural. Confidence feels calm. This is not withdrawal. This is self-respect. You are learning that not everyone needs to understand you for you to move forward. Hold on. Stay with me. God says the silent threat depended on your reaction. Without reaction, it fades. Without emotional access, it loses relevance. This is why peace is so powerful. Peace does not argue. Peace does not prove. Peace simply stands. Stay till the end. Here is a once in a lifetime realization. What tried to delay you actually trained you. What tried to confuse you actually refined you. What tried to drain you actually taught you boundaries. Nothing was wasted. God says you are now operating from wisdom instead of survival. From intention instead of habit. From discernment instead of assumption. Don't skip this next line. This is the version of you that moves forward without looking back. Not because the past is bad, but because the future is clear. You no longer chase clarity. You protect it. Stay with me. From this place, doors open differently. Opportunities feel aligned instead of overwhelming. Relationships feel balanced instead of heavy. You will recognize what is for you by the peace it brings, not by the effort it demands. Stay till the end. God says this season is quiet on purpose. Quiet seasons strengthen foundations. What is being built now will not collapse later. You are becoming unshakable, not because nothing happens, but because you know who you are when things happen. Hold on. The silent threat is no longer part of your story. Wisdom has taken its place. Don't skip the final part. What comes next is the confirmation that everything you sensed was leading you exactly here. Stay with me. This is the moment of confirmation. Don't skip. God says everything you sensed was real. Every quiet warning. Every unexplained heaviness. Every moment you felt something was not right but could not explain it. None of it was imagination. It was discernment growing before you had language for it. Now you have language. Now you have clarity. Now you have peace. Stay till the end. Here is the final revelation. The silent threat was never stronger than you. It only survived because you were learning. And learning season has ended. God says you are no longer easily influenced because you are no longer easily impressed. You do not move because of pressure. You do not stay because of guilt. You do not delay because of fear. That is freedom. Don't skip this. You have crossed a line internally. On one side was confusion. On the other side is knowing. Once you cross into knowing, you cannot unknow what God has shown you. That is why you will never go back to the old version of yourself. Stay with me. From this point forward, your life will feel quieter but stronger. Fewer explanations. Fewer doubts. Fewer emotional battles. Not because nothing happens, but because you are no longer shaken by what does not matter. God says this is what spiritual authority feels like. Calm. Grounded. Certain. Stay till the end. Here is what changes now. You will recognize alignment instantly. You will sense resistance without panic. You will choose peace without apology. You will not need signs every day because clarity will live within you. Don't skip this next truth. What God removes quietly never returns loudly. Once access is closed, it stays closed. Once clarity settles, it stays settled. You are not entering confusion again. You are not repeating the same cycle again. You are not overlooking the same signs again. That chapter is complete. Hold on. Stay with me. God says your next season does not begin with struggle. It begins with stability, with inner agreement, with peace that confirms you are walking in the right direction. You will notice progress without force. You will notice growth without pressure. You will notice favor without chasing. That is alignment. Stay till the end. The silent threat is gone. In its place is silent strength. And silent strength will carry you further than noise ever could. This is not the end of your journey. This is the moment you finally walk it with clear eyes, steady steps, and a peaceful heart. Don't skip what comes next in your life. You are ready for it. Stay with me. This final layer brings deep confirmation. Don't skip. God says there is a quiet confidence forming inside you now. Not excitement. Not urgency. Certainty. The kind that does not rush and does not retreat. This certainty is the proof that alignment has settled. Stay till the end. Here is something rare and powerful. When God finishes exposing a silent threat, He replaces it with silent direction. You no longer ask, "Is this right?" You feel when it is right. You no longer fear making the wrong move, because peace now guides your steps. Don't skip this. You may notice that your reactions have changed. Things that once disturbed you no longer reach you. Words that once affected you now pass through without weight. That is not emotional distance. That is inner authority. God says this authority did not come overnight. It was built through awareness, patience, and truth. Stay with me. There is a reason this message had to unfold slowly. Sudden clarity can overwhelm. Progressive clarity strengthens. You were being prepared to hold this level of understanding without fear. Now you can. Stay till the end. Here is a once-in-a-lifetime realization. The silent threat was never meant to stay. It was meant to reveal how strong your discernment could become. Once that strength matured, the threat lost all relevance. You are no longer reacting. You are responding. You are no longer guessing. You are deciding. Don't skip this next thought. From this moment forward, your life moves differently. You will not feel the need to prove anything. Your calm will speak. Your choices will reflect clarity. Your peace will become your signature. God says this is how you recognize transformation. Not by noise, but by stability. Stay with me. You will attract what matches your clarity. You will release what resists your growth. You will protect what brings peace. This is not effort. This is alignment. Stay till the end. The silent threat is no longer part of your awareness. Wisdom has replaced vigilance. Peace has replaced tension. Direction has replaced confusion. You are now walking with understanding that cannot be taken from you. Don't skip what unfolds next in your life. What is coming will meet you ready, steady, and grounded. This is the moment you move forward without doubt, without hesitation, and without looking back. Stay with me. The clarity you carry now will guide everything that comes next. Stay with me. This part anchors everything. Don't skip. God says what you are feeling now is not excitement. It is readiness. Excitement fades. Readiness stays. Readiness does not rush ahead, and it does not look back. It moves when the moment opens. Stay till the end. Here is a powerful truth. When clarity becomes permanent, your life begins to reorganize itself. You do not force changes. Changes align themselves around you. What fits moves closer. What does not quietly steps away. Don't skip this. You may notice that your priorities feel sharper. Time feels more valuable. Energy feels precious. This is not pressure. This is stewardship. You are finally treating your life with the care it deserves. God says you are no longer available for confusion. Stay with me. There is something shocking and rare happening right now. The silent threat that once required constant awareness no longer needs monitoring. When wisdom matures, vigilance rests. You do not scan for danger because discernment now filters automatically. That is freedom. Stay till the end. You are no longer trying to understand everything. You are understanding what matters. You are no longer trying to fix everything. You are fixing your focus. Don't skip this next thought. God says your peace is no longer fragile. It does not break when challenged. It does not disappear when questioned. It remains steady because it is built on truth. This is the kind of peace that protects decisions. The kind of peace that guards direction. The kind of peace that keeps you moving forward even when outcomes are not visible yet. Stay with me. From this point on, you will notice something subtle but powerful. Your intuition speaks once, not repeatedly. Clarity does not need to shout. When something is right, you will know. When something is wrong, you will not argue with yourself. God says this is discernment in motion. Stay till the end. You have reached a stage where you do not need constant confirmation. Inner alignment confirms you. Calm confidence supports you. Peace steadies you. This is not the end of growth. This is the foundation for what grows next. Don't skip this final truth of this part. When God removes what was hidden, He reveals what was prepared. What comes next in your life will not require confusion to enter. It will arrive with peace, clarity, and stability. You are not late. You are not behind. You are positioned. Stay with me. The journey continues, but now you walk it with vision that does not blur and strength that does not shake. Stay with me. This part completes the cycle. Don't skip. God says there is a reason you stayed until now. Not everyone can sit with truth this long. Not everyone allows clarity to finish its work. You did. And because you did, something permanent has been established within you. Stay till the end. Here is the final revelation. When God removes a silent threat, He does not replace it with noise. He replaces it with direction that feels natural. You no longer feel pushed. You no longer feel pulled. You feel guided. That is how you know this shift is real. Don't skip this. You are now standing in a place where your decisions carry weight. What you choose next will not be accidental. It will be intentional.